Have you ever caught yourself thinking, I used to do this on my own, but now I need help? Whether it's opening a jar, carrying a grocery bag, or just standing up without feeling dizzy, it's those little moments that can start to chip away at our independence. And the truth is, no one likes to feel like they're becoming a burden. We all want to stay strong, stay capable, and live life on our own terms, even as the years go by. But aging has a funny way of creeping in. One day you're moving furniture without a second thought, and the next, you're hesitating before climbing the stairs. And that hesitation, that's where it often begins. The slow shift from doing to depending. And let me tell you, it doesn't have to be that way. The reality is, you don't have to wait until something goes wrong to take control of your future. In fact, the smartest thing you can do is act before the help is needed. That's what this conversation is all about today. For practical, powerful ways you can protect your freedom as you age. Not just your ability to move around, but your ability to live the way you want without constantly leaning on others. These aren't complicated strategies or things that require a personal trainer, a stack of money, or a complete lifestyle overhaul. These are small, smart steps you can begin today. Things that fit right into the rhythm of your life. You'll see what I mean. Let's start with one of the most important areas of all, your home. It may not be the first thing you think of when you hear freedom, but believe me, your environment plays a huge role in how independent you feel. Think about it. If you have to constantly reach, bend, climb, or maneuver around clutter just to make a cup of tea or get to the bathroom, it's only a matter of time before something goes wrong. One of the smartest ways to keep your independence is to make your space work for you, not against you. That doesn't mean turning your house upside down. It can be as simple as rearranging things so the items you use most are at waist height. No more bending down under the sink or stretching to the top shelf. Replace rugs that slip. Add a light in that dark hallway. Move that heavy pan to a drawer instead of above your head. Little changes, big difference. And it's not about being fragile. It's about being proactive. Taking a fall doesn't just leave a bruise. It can take away your confidence, your freedom, and sometimes your ability to live on your own. So why wait for that to happen? The most independent people I know are the ones who set themselves up for success. They don't see these changes as giving in. They see them as taking control. And speaking of control, let's talk about your body, because you already know this, but it's worth repeating. When you stop moving, things start to stiffen up. Muscles shrink, joints ache, energy dips, and suddenly, you're relying on someone to do the things you used to take for granted. But there's good news here. You don't have to run marathons or do anything extreme to stay strong and steady. The key is staying consistent. A simple walk around the block every morning, a few minutes of stretching before bed, or gentle exercises while you watch TV. These things build strength quietly. And strength in this stage of life is freedom. Your legs, especially, they're your foundation. The stronger they are, the easier it is to get out of a chair, climb stairs, or catch yourself if you stumble. You don't need weights or machines, just your own body and a little bit of time. Try standing up and sitting down from a chair a few times without using your hands, or standing on one foot for a few seconds while brushing your teeth. These small movements aren't just about fitness. They're about confidence, because when your body can support you, your mind starts to believe in you again, and that's where the real shift happens. Suddenly, you're not thinking, can I do this? You're thinking, of course I can. And let's be honest, there's a kind of pride that comes with that. A quiet, personal victory every time you open a jar without help or carry your own groceries from the car. It's not about proving anything to anyone else. It's about knowing you still have power in your own life, that you don't need to wait for someone to rescue you. You can show up for yourself. Now, alongside your physical strength, there's something else just as important that often gets overlooked. Staying connected. Not just socially, but with purpose. Having a reason to get up, a reason to move, a reason to take care of yourself. It could be a hobby, a weekly coffee with friends, volunteering at your church, or planting flowers in the backyard. Purpose gives us momentum. And momentum is what keeps us from slowing down too soon. It's what turns a quiet day into one filled with intention. And when you feel useful, When you feel needed, you move differently. You stand taller. You make plans. You say yes instead of maybe later. But the best part? These pieces, your home, your body, your mindset, your purpose, they all work together. One supports the other. When you feel stronger, you take on more. When your space is safe, you move with ease. When your days have meaning, you show up for them fully. It's all connected. And it all leads back to the same goal: staying free, staying independent, and living life on your terms. One of the things that surprises people most as they get older isn't that their knees ache or that they forget where they put the remote. It's that their world starts to shrink quietly, bit by bit. Maybe you stop driving at night, or you avoid certain places because you're worried about stairs. You might even turn down invitations just because you're not sure how far you'll have to walk. And before you know it, your daily life is smaller, more limited, less spontaneous. That's why one of the smartest things you can do for your freedom is protect your mobility before it becomes an issue. Because the moment you stop doing something regularly, your body and brain start to forget how. That trip to the farmer's market that used to be second nature starts to feel like an ordeal. That walk through the park starts to feel too long. And it's not because you can't do it. It's because you haven't done it in a while. So what can you do? You move with purpose. That doesn't mean exhausting yourself or pushing through pain. It means building movement into your day like it's part of who you are, because it is. Movement keeps your joints healthy, your muscles strong, and your circulation flowing. But even more than that, it keeps you connected to your life. Try this. Instead of thinking of movement as exercise, think of it as preparation. Preparation for the next family outing, for a trip to the store, for a day in the garden, or even just to walk down the driveway and pick up the mail without thinking twice. It's not about fitness. It's about function, about saying yes to the things you love, and not letting your body be the reason you say no. And if walking is already getting harder, that's even more reason to start gently. Stretch your ankles while watching TV. Do a few arm circles before bed. Rise up on your toes while you brush your teeth. These things seem small, but they signal to your body that you're still here, still moving, still in control. But even with movement in a safe home, there's one thing that can slowly chip away at your independence more than almost anything else. And that's relying too much on others for decisions. It can happen subtly. A family member starts handling your bills just to make it easier. You let someone else do the shopping because it's faster. They start making appointments for you, and before you know it, you're nodding along instead of speaking up. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with accepting help when you truly need it. In fact, knowing when to ask for help is its own kind of strength. But there's a big difference between getting help and giving up control. And the longer you let others make your choices, the harder it becomes to get that control back. So here's a small but powerful shift. Stay involved in your decisions, whether it's financial, medical, or just everyday plans. Keep your voice in the conversation. Ask questions. Write things down. Stay informed. You don't have to do everything alone, but you do deserve to have a say in everything that affects you. Even something as simple as planning your meals for the week or deciding what time your appointments are can make you feel more anchored. Because independence isn't just physical, it's mental too. And the more engaged you stay with your own life, the less likely you are to feel like a passenger in it. And here's the truth. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be running marathons, balancing checkbooks in your head, or remembering everything without a calendar. What matters is being present, being aware, choosing to participate rather than withdraw. That's how you stay free. That's how you stay you. And while we're talking about choosing to participate, let's not forget how powerful it is to connect with others. Not out of need, but out of joy. One of the greatest tricks aging plays on us is convincing us that we're alone in how we feel, that others are managing better, that we're somehow falling behind. But that's simply not true. Everyone at some point feels the fear of losing their independence. Everyone wonders if they're still capable. Everyone faces those quiet moments of doubt when they look at their pill organizer or reach for the railing and think, is this the beginning of the end? But it doesn't have to be. In fact, that moment right there is your turning point. It's the moment you can choose action over fear. It's when you stop waiting for someone to come fix things and you start fixing what you can. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's power. And when you reach out, not because you need help, but because you want to share something to laugh, to learn, you're strengthening more than just your social life. You're strengthening your spirit. You're reminding yourself that you are still full of value, that you have stories, wisdom, and presence, that you're not just aging, you're still living. So let today be the day you stop waiting. Stop waiting for someone to notice, to offer, to push you forward. Stand up, speak up, stretch your legs, tidy up your space, make a choice just for you, and feel the shift begin. You're not losing your freedom. You're reclaiming it. Sometimes we think freedom is about doing everything ourselves, no matter what. But the truth is, real freedom isn't about stubborn independence. It's about smart independence. It's about knowing when to take control and when to set yourself up for support so you don't end up in a crisis. That brings us to one last, powerful way to keep your freedom strong as you age. Putting the right systems in place before you need them. Now I know the word systems might sound a little technical, but it's actually very personal. It just means thinking ahead, planning in a way that makes your daily life smoother, safer, and less stressful. For example, let's say you take a few medications each day. Instead of scrambling every morning to remember what's what, you could use a weekly pill organizer, or better yet, set a reminder on your phone, or even ask your pharmacy to pre-sort them for you. It's not about giving up control. It's about making sure your day doesn't fall apart because of one forgotten dose. Or maybe you've noticed you misplaced things more often lately. Instead of feeling frustrated each time, what if you chose one spot by the door for your keys and glasses every time? You'd be surprised how little habits like this can completely shift your day. They free up your energy so you're not constantly putting out fires or second-guessing yourself. And it doesn't stop there. Having a plan for your meals each week can keep you from skipping food or relying on last-minute takeout. Keeping a list of emergency contacts on your fridge gives you peace of mind in case of an urgent moment. Even signing up for local services, like grocery delivery, rideshare apps, or senior community programs, can give you options that keep you in control without having to lean too hard on family or neighbors. A lot of people avoid doing these things because they think it means they're getting old. But let me offer you a different perspective. Setting up systems isn't a sign of decline. It's a sign of wisdom. You've learned from life. You know how unpredictable things can be. And now, you're using that wisdom to stay one step ahead. That's not weakness, that's strength. Because the goal isn't to be young again. The goal is to feel capable, no matter what age you are. And when you have those systems and routines in place, you don't have to rely on memory or hope that you'll figure out later. You've already made the path smoother for yourself. You've already done the hard thinking. That's freedom. And here's the most beautiful part of all this. It doesn't just benefit you. When you take care of your space, your body, your decisions, and your systems, you give a gift to people around you. Your children, your friends, your community. They worry less. They see you thriving. They see you choosing strength and intention. And you give them something powerful. The reassurance that you're still you. Present, alert, engaged, and proud. We live in a world that often underestimates people as they get older. You probably felt it. That look someone gives you when they speak slower than necessary. The assumption that you need help before you've even asked. It can be frustrating. But instead of getting angry, I want you to see it as fuel. Because every time you choose to show up for yourself, every time you stretch your body, make your own decisions, plan your week, or keep your routines, you're rewriting the story. You're showing that freedom doesn't disappear with age. It evolves. And when you treat yourself like someone worth taking care of, the world starts to follow your lead. Now, let's quickly pull all this together, not as a checklist, but as a mindset. Your home should be a safe, empowering space that supports your independence. Your body, even if it's slower than it used to be, deserves movement and care every single day. Your mind is sharpest when you stay involved, stay informed, and stay in charge of your choices. And your daily life becomes smoother, not harder, when you build simple routines and systems that work for you. This is how you protect your freedom. Not by pretending you're 30 again, but by honoring where you are right now and setting yourself up to thrive. Because you're not done, not even close. So here's what I'd love you to do next. Take one small step today. Maybe it's clearing that cluttered corner that always makes you trip. Maybe it's stretching for 5 minutes while your coffee brews. Maybe it's making that doctor's appointment you've been putting off. Or finally teaching yourself how to use that app your grandkids keep talking about. And then tomorrow, do another step. And the day after, another. Because the road to lasting independence isn't built in one leap. It's built in quiet, steady choices. And every one of those choices is a powerful act of self-respect. If this message resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. What small change have you made to keep your freedom strong? Let's learn from each other. Let's grow together. And if you found this helpful, give the video a like and hit subscribe so you don't miss more content designed just for you. You deserve advice that speaks to your life, your challenges, and your strengths. Remember, getting older is not the end of your independence. It's the start of a new kind, a wiser, more deliberate, and deeply rewarding kind. You don't have to wait for help. You've got more power than you think. Here's to strength, to self-respect, and to living with confidence at any age.